Is it Goldberg or straight Oldberg? I don't know. I'm asking. Goldberg recently did an interview and he's talking about all the injuries that he's got. And I gotta tell you, it doesn't sound good. Talking about injuring himself non-stop during his retirement match training. This is a quote from Billy Goldberg. It's extremely difficult to get prepared without going overboard. I hurt myself a couple of times in the past 3 months. I'm extremely limited because of my left knee. I can't run. I've been working around my shoulder that I haven't been able to use for 5 years. End quote. Can I say that again? Hurt myself a couple of times in the last 3 months. I'm extremely limited because of my left knee and I can't run. I've been working around my shoulder that I haven't been able to use for 5 years. Well, that doesn't sound good. So he's basically wrestling with one arm and one leg. Can he even run enough to hit his spear? And if he does hit his spear, will his shoulder fall off? This could be entertaining, actually. He could somehow pull off a worse-looking spear than Jason Uso. I didn't think that was humanly imaginable. Jason Uso's spear could end up better than Billy Goldberg's in 2025. But what are you saying? You can't run. And you only have one arm. You have one leg and you have one arm. Should you be going into a retirement match or the retirement home? I'm just asking. I'm going by his own words. This is just in training. In training, he has one leg and one arm. The hell's he gonna do in the ring? And why would you put one of your wrestlers in the ring with him? I understand you want to hear the music hit, Billy Goldberg's music. You want to see him hit the door with his head. That's always a good time. But damn! At what point is this just sad? Billy Goldberg. Speaking of the aforementioned Jason Uso, by the way, if you're wondering the plans for the Goldenberg, we believe that the Goldenberg will be returning this Monday night on Raw to help Jason Yeaterman retain his title, thus setting up his big SummerSlam match as his big, it's gonna be stupendous! The Goldenberg will set up a SummerSlam match with Gunther by costing Gunther the championship this Monday night on Raw. So Helmsley's master plan for Gunther, after making him look like a complete jackass, tapping out in 8 seconds to his own move to tag team Jason Yeaterman, who hasn't done cardio since 1946 and can barely get his ass over the top rope these days, is to have Gunther face a commentator, Matthew McAfee, and a 58-year-old Berg. That's the master plan to make Gunther relevant again. Listen, I got a plan for you. All right, you got to just listen to me, all right? You got to listen. We're going to have you tap out in 8 seconds to your own move. Hand the title over to Yeaterman. But then you're going to be in a story, a quick match with Matthew McAfee. Put you in there with a commentator. That'll draw some headlines. Then we're going to put you in there with a legend, Goldberg. That's right, one arm, one leg, 8 toes. Who knows? But you know what? You can go in there with one eye. It wouldn't matter. You're going to go in there. It's going to grab the headlines. You're going to steal the show. We'll put you in there with commentators, celebrities, legends. It'll make up for tapping out in 8 seconds to a pro wrestler, Jason Yeaterman, and handing your title over to your own move. You gotta trust the system. Trust the process, Gunther. That's Hunter Hearst Helmsley's master plan. Celebrities, legends, commentators. Smoke and mirrors is the plan for Gunther after dropping his title. And now you're putting Gunther in there with a dude with one arm and one leg. His own words. That's Goldberg's own words. In training, he can't run, and he's working around his other arm. Working around his shoulder that he hasn't been able to use in 5 years. That's what he said. That's what he said. I didn't say it. His quote. One arm, one leg. And go in there with fucking Gunther. How's that going to make Gunther look? You beat a 58-year-old with 2 limbs. And we're supposed... You picked on Matthew McAfee. And you tapped out in 8 seconds to your own move to tag team Yetterman. Stop it. The fuck is this making Gunther look special? Of course it's not. Legends want to come back, man. I always say have at it. I don't care how old you are, man. If you want the music to smash out, you want to get that adulation from the crowd, I love it. Even if it is a Billy Goldberg. But this is sad. At what point do you just have to say, forget about the retirement match? I'm checking into the retirement home. You ain't even gotta. You just sit your ass at home. Jump in the pool of millions you've already made. Right? Giant pool. In the basement area of his mansion. And instead of water in that pool, he's just got a pool full of cash. And swim in that. Much respect if he wants to have this retirement match, and it means so much. But damn, at what point when you no longer can use your limbs is it just done, bro? Because now you gotta think more about just yourself. You want a retirement match. That's adorable. What about the person who's working with you? One of the last times he was in that ring, man, he almost dropped Undertaker on his head 3 times. Undertaker to this day is pissed off. Now, we think he knocked himself out. When Goldberg was going to the ring, he nailed his head on the door, and we think he was knocked out at that point. So he didn't even know where he was at during that match, but still, that's what I mean. You can't just do this once every 3 or 4 or 5 years and just think about yourself. You got to think about others. Whatever, we'll watch it because it's an attraction match, right? Gunther versus Goldberg. We'll watch it. But if the last several Goldberg matches have taught us anything, it's don't get your hopes too high. Keep your expectations as low as Raw and SmackDown rating numbers. Woo! BC's rocking out. Hey, guys, enjoy SmackDown tonight. Yeah, see, you thought I was all out of jokes. Enjoy SmackDown. Hey, Nick Aldis has promised that all of the participants in the men's and the ladies' ladder matches are going to be there in Bakersfield. In that arena, so he promised, or at least he said, I can only believe it's going to be an explosive situation with all of these participants under one roof, which means you'll probably get some brawls! They're going to brawl! Maybe you'll get some tag team or some 6-man tags or 6-woman tags, right? You'll see all these participants in some type of matchups together because that's super entertaining and oh so creative! Oh, and before we take off, you guys see Logan Paul, man. Logan Paul having a laugh, and he's sharing this text, I guess it was, that Hunter Hearst Helmsley had sent him. It's a cute little text with a picture of Jey Uso hitting the super kick on Logan Paul, and it's right on his chin, too. And I think the caption that Hunter sent with the picture was, "Did you see this? Right on the button." With a little LOL or something. So then they had a little bit of an exchange. How cute is that, man? Helmsley and Logan Paul having a little moment while at the gym or whatever, and they're texting each other, and they're swimming across social media and checking out the memes, and how cute is that? That's awesome. There's just one problem, of course. I was told that Hunter doesn't have time. He doesn't have time. He's doing so much that he doesn't have time to tell the talent or talk to the talent. A quick phone call, a quick text, anything just to let them know why they were released, right? So many people are still to this day going, we don't exactly know why we were released. They didn't even say budget cuts to us. And even if they did, we just want to know, like, why us then? Right? Budget cuts, cool. How did you come to the conclusion that we would go, just so we know for the future so we can change some shit? They don't know. Nobody from the company has taken a moment to tell them why they were fired, released, or just not re-signed. Just told, check you. It doesn't matter if it's a Braun Strowman. It doesn't matter if it's a Sonya Deville or a Shayna Baszler. Doesn't matter who or when they were released. Under the Hunter Hearst Helmsley regime, nobody has even given them a reason. And we were told that Helmsley cares about the talent a lot more, right? Helmsley is Papa H, but he's not, though, right? The second they're out of that company, he turns a blind eye. And I was told, well, BC, he just has so much to do, man. He doesn't have a moment to text them exactly why or a quick call. Oh, but he can shoot the shit and have some laughs with Logan Paul because Logan's a celebrity. Now, where are these stories with Natty? Where are these stories with Tozawa? Or the talent that's been released? Where's Tegan Knox's story that Hunter is just randomly texting him some funny memes? Where is it? No, Logan Paul is a celebrity. He has things going on outside of WWE. And the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. If you thought McMahon loved that, Helmsley loves it even more. That's the truth. Logan is not just a WWE wrestler. He's got his hands in so many cookie jars outside of the ring. He's a celeb now, and Helmsley loves that. Helmsley should have been getting creative with everything that's coming up, right? You just came off a piss-poor WrestleMania season and WrestleMania. We all told you how bad it was. He knows how the ratings are going backwards. He knows fans are pissed off, and his only comeback to that is you're not a real fan and we can fuck off, so the ratings get even lower because fans are actually fucking off. But the fans are pissed. Talent, the morale in WWE is at an all-time low, especially after R-Truth. So what he does is he goes to a Pacer game. He was at that Pacer game against the New York Knicks. Even with all this going on after WrestleMania, people going, dude, the creative sucks. What are you doing? You're in charge of all this. You're the chief of the content. You're the chief of talent. You're the chief of creative. And you're going to Pacer games? Vince McMahon, you wouldn't find that. Vince McMahon would be in the office 25 hours out of a 24-hour day. Do the math. If something was not right, or if things were off, or business is not exactly where it should be, talent's not happy, fans are frustrated, you're no longer selling out arenas. They're sold out tonight. They're in this little arena in Bakersfield that can fit approximately 10 to 12,000 fans. So they'll announce a sellout tonight, trust me. But they can't consistently anymore. That's done. And this dude's showing up to Pacer games because he's got a little relationship with Halliburton. Tyrese Halliburton. He's this big sports star at Helmsley. Helmsley's right there next to him. Logan Paul. They're having some funny texts together. But all these wrestlers that are getting released, we don't got a damn moment to tell you why. At least you would know. But could you imagine just not having a reason? No, we just can't tell you. We just decided on you, and it's our company. We can do that. So you go to bed at night and you ponder that shit. How do you like those apples? How do you like them apples, Carlito? They won't tell anybody anything. And the people that blow smoke up the company's ass, they just go, oh, they're busy. They're busy. What do you expect them to do? Call everyone that they got released? Yeah! There's a wild concept! Or when they're getting released, you tell them why. Because every single one of them are saying the same thing still to this day. What bothers them the most, not just getting released, it's the fact that they don't know why still. Nobody has told them to this day. Most of them not even told budget cuts, not even told that. And even then, you'd still have questions. Or here's a better thought. Instead of just letting them know when you're releasing them or choosing to not re-sign them and you're telling them, how about you let them know well in advance? Like a couple of months beforehand, right? This isn't some normal 9 to 5. Let's be honest. These are independent contractors, not employees. Give them the same respect that they're showing you by breaking their backs, literally and figuratively in some instances, for you and your company. So give them the same respect. How's just 2 months? 2 months before you're gonna You're going to kick them to the curb. Let them know. Hey, Chance and Carter, come in here if you don't mind. Yeah, thank you. Sit down. So this is the deal. In a couple months, we are going to have to part ways. We are doing some budget cuts. You guys have been doing good. Trust me. You've been handling your shit. But this is how we came to this conclusion. X, Y, and Z. Spend 3 or 4 minutes on that. Let them have their say. And then they know at least when they walk out of that office that in 2 months, they got 2 full months. Get your ducks in a row. This is what you can and can't do during those 60 days, and this is what you can and can't do after the 30 maybe. Who knows? After the 60 for 30 days. Who knows? But you talk it out. Mull over the pay and how that's going to work so that they're not blindsided. A lot of these people that are told they're not being re-signed, a lot of them are being told with 2 weeks left on their contract or a month. And for a month, they can't get any answers. 3 weeks, 2 weeks, no answers. They're told to sit home because they know if they're in the arena, they'll have a better chance at getting answers. So they're told not even to show up. 3 weeks is over, 2 weeks. I saw some releases where they were told 10 days beforehand. And they're like, whoa, we were having good talks. I was told I was being re-signed. Hunter just told me everything was good. I'm doing really good. Now I can't get 2 words out of Hunter. Interesting. Logan Paul sharing his little buddy time with Hunter Helmsley, right? Their little messages and having a laugh while creative is in the shitter. Fans are furious. Talent's morale is in the garbage with Helmsley's creative. And while all this is going on, where we're going to Pacer games to root on our friend Halliburton, we're shooting the shit with our buddy Logan Paul and any other celebrity that will allow Hunter Hearst Helmsley to say some words to him. It's pathetic. I said it a million times, I'll say it a million more times. Helmsley plays the role of Vince McMahon. He's nowhere near Vince McMahon's work ethic. Nothing. McMahon in his prime. Helmsley is not even a shell. He's not even on the beach. Not even on the beach. Not even a shell of what Vince could do in his prime. So then there's another story. Oh, man. See, this was only supposed to be some Goldberg talk, but I just had a fresh coffee. So I'm going to give you one more quick story here and give you my thoughts on it. There's a story going around that The Rock and Helmsley, they've had a falling out, a little disagreement. They didn't have a falling out because they were never in. Listen to my words. I've been saying it for the longest of times. They don't actually like one another. They say they're buddies. They smile when they're on camera together. These are 2 of the biggest egos on the planet. Please understand that. There was a promo many years ago. It was Hunter Helmsley and Vince McMahon, and they were pissed off at Shane. So Shane had a live mic, and Shane is looking at his father and the dude that's banging his sister. Shane McMahon is looking at Vince and looking at Hunter Hearst Helmsley, and he goes, ew, look at this. Look at this. If it's not the 2 biggest egos on the planet, how do you even exist in the same room, the 2 biggest egos on the planet? And he's talking about Vince and Helmsley. He was almost right. Shane McMahon was half right. There's no question Vince McMahon's ego is on another planet. That's another story. But Hunter Helmsley and The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, those 2 together, the biggest egos you will ever come across in 10 lifetimes. The Rock loves to come in and throw his weight and his name and his status around, and Helmsley is thinking, I have worked so damn hard at kissing the right asses and stroking the who knows what's off of everybody and marrying the right people. There's no way I can let The Rock sink that ship. And The Rock is like, dude, I'm way more valuable than you. And Helmsley's like, no, I'm more valuable. And The Rock's like, but you suck. And H is like, so what? I married the right person, not you, buddy. And there was always that friction, man. There was that friction back in the Attitude Era. That was the way of the land back then. Everybody looking over their shoulder and trying to one-up the next. That's why if Stone Cold and Helmsley were to tell you they have some great buddy-buddy relationship, that's bullshit. And at least Austin is more forthcoming with that. Helmsley's a snake, so he'll say, we're really close buddies. No, you're not. You would have had Stone Cold last year's Mania when it made sense with that Cody and Roman match, but they had to get The Undertaker instead because they couldn't work a deal out. Because the truth is, and I've said this many times, Stone Cold doesn't like working for today's Hunter Hearst Helmsley. He doesn't like working for Helmsley. That's fine. Taking on Hunter Helmsley back in the Attitude Era, that's fine. Working for? Austin doesn't like it. Can't stand it. Just like Shane McMahon. Can't stand it and won't. The money and the opportunity, the timing, all has to be perfect if you're going to see Shane McMahon in a WWE ring. WrestleMania, when he blew his leg out, that was for the kids. His kids. That was it. That was that match. That was that moment. Get out. He doesn't care for Hunter Helmsley. Austin doesn't care for Hunter Helmsley. And The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, doesn't care for Hunter Helmsley. So this story that they're having, they had a falling out. They were never in. They never fell in. It was always on the outs. For the cameras and for the press and for fans, they put on a smile and said they're good buddies. And they always say they're good buddies. They're not good buddies. The greatest advice you'll ever get in the pro wrestling world, whether from a former talent or somebody with great knowledge within the industry, they will tell you if they use some semblance, just any semblance of common sense and logic, never let the boys have the creative pen. Never let the boys actually run the show. Doesn't matter if it's a Hulk Hogan, a Kevin Nash, or a Hunter Hearst Helmsley, Paul Levesque, McMahon. Doesn't matter. Because they will run it into the ground. It does not work. This version of WWE does not work. The Rock and the friction he has with Helmsley doesn't make matters any better. And that is your amped up for the 6th of June 2025. Hours away from SmackDown, where all of the participants for the Money in the Bank ladder matches are in the arena. Whoa! Are we gonna get some brawls and some multi-man tag matches? Yeehaw! Let me get some extra coffee. This could be so damn excited, said no pro wrestling fan ever. Until next time, and there will be that next time. BC in the unit, we're saying check you.